ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्ख्यपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसां पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। So namaste once again everyone.
नमस्ते गुरुजी।
नमस्ते गुरुजी।
Namaste.
नमस्ते
नमस्ते गुरुजी।
नमस्ते
Namaste. Namaste. Good. So in the Madhyama Shatkam from chapter 7 to 12, Lord Krishna is primarily dealing with Ishvara Swarupam or the nature of God. He progressively develops the topic and he will continue to do so in the following chapters 10, 11 and 12 also. So far, Krishna has defined God as Jagat Karanam, the cause of the universe. And he talked about two aspects of God known as Paraprakriti, higher nature, and also talked about the nature of God, the lower nature, Aparaprakriti. And we also saw Paraprakriti is of the nature of consciousness and Aparaprakriti is of the nature of matter or Maya, as it is called, Maya. Thus, basic matter principle plus the consciousness principle put together is what we call Ishvara, Bhagavan, God. And we also saw what the common features of both consciousness and Maya are, and what are the uncommon features of these two. The common feature was that both consciousness and matter are beginningless. Therefore, both cannot be created. And this beginningless consciousness-matter combination is what we call Ishvara. And we also saw the differences. Paraprakriti or consciousness is not subject to change. It is a changeless principle. Whereas the matter principle is subject to change, subject to evolution to become this universe. And of course, also subject to devolution. In other words, even though matter does not fully disappear, it is subject to manifestation and unmanifestation. And as I said, consciousness remains the same all the time. And the scriptural terms for matter is called savikaram, and consciousness is called nirvikaram. Matter is called sagunam, full of attributes and properties. Consciousness is called nirgunam, free from all attributes or properties. And that is why when we want to study the universe, we can study only the saguna aspect and not the nirguna aspect. And finally, we made one more point, which is not very much relevant here, but as an aside note, that is consciousness is satyam, having independence. It is swatantram, whereas matter is mithya, it is paratantram, depending upon consciousness. Thus, chetanam, achetanam, nirvikaram, savikaram, nirgunam, sagunam, satyam, mithya. These are the differences. Such consciousness matter mixture is called God. And that alone is symbolically presented as the Parvati principle and Parameshwara principle in the scriptures. Since para and apara are two inseparable principles, we compare it to the inseparable made for each other couple who can never be separated. In fact, Kalidasa presents this idea very beautifully in a Prarthana sloka in Raghuvamsha. And in many of the institutions, this sloka is chanted before the beginning of Sanskrit class every day. Even in Gurukulam, we used to chant this before the sloka before the starting of Sanskrit class. Vagharta viva sampriktau Vagharta pratipattaye Jagatav pitarau vande Parvati Parameshwarau. So Vaga Artha, Vak and Artha, the word and its meaning, Sampruktav, they are so closely knit together. It can never be separated. Vagartau iva, like para and apara prakriti are like father and mother principle. And this God is Jagat Karanam, which means God is responsible for the emergence of this universe. And the understanding of the Karanam status is generally done in 3 stages depending upon the maturity of the student. For a beginner, God as the cause is presented in one way, and once a person is slightly mature in the sense spiritually mature, the presentation is modified to suit the intellectual capacity. And then we have got a third level for the most advanced students. All these, of course, we have discussed before. I'm just recalling some of the important aspects of what our understanding of God is till now. So for the first level of student, we say God creates this world just as a carpenter creates the furniture. Just as the goldsmith produces ornaments, similarly, God is the creator of this world. So in Sanskrit, we use the word nimitta karanam. And at this level, when we say God is the creator, the students assume God as a person in human form. Because when you imagine a creator, the creator has to be an intelligent, principled, skilled person. And therefore, God is also like a human being. And naturally, student will ask, where does this God reside? Obviously, we cannot give a local address. because the student will go and verify. He said, I went there, but there is no God. Therefore, we give an address which cannot be verified for while living. We say God is in Vaikuntha or Kailasa. Then we paint a beautiful imagery of the God's abode. Shiro Dhanma Pradeshe Shuchimani Vilasat Saikatair Muktikanam Mala Kliptasanas Patikamani Nibhai Muktikai Manditangai Shubhrairabhrairadabrhair Uparirichitair Muktapiyushavarshaihi Anandina Puniyadarin Gadashangapanir Mugundaha. Then we go on to say Chayayam Parijadasya Hema Simhasanopari Asinamambudashyamam Ayatakshamalankratam Chandrananam Chaturbahum Srivatsankita Vakshasam Rukmini Satyabhamabhyam Sahitam Krishnamashraye. So if the student asks, where is God? Parijada Vrikshaya Chayaya. In Vaikuntha, there is a Parijada Vriksham is there. It is there only in Vaikuntha. In the Bhuloka, there is no Parijata Vriksham. So in the shade of that tree, Chaya means shade, Chayayam means in the shade. And there also Hemasimhasanopari. There is a golden, what they call, throne, Swarna Simhasana. Ashinam, beautifully seated. Ambudashyamam, like a dark cloud. Ayataksham means one who has got a beautiful long eye. Alankritam, wearing various ornaments. Chandrananam, having beautiful moon-like face. Chaturbahum, having 4 hands. Srivatsankita Vakshasam, Rukmini Satyamadi, because there is one mole which is called Srivatsa. So, Bhagavan, Vishnu and Krishna all are supposed to be having that one mole kind of a thing in the chest. That is Srivatsankita Vakshasam. Then Rukmini Satyabhamabhyam Sahitam Krishna Masraye. In fact, such a beautiful description that Bharatanatyam dancers, when they dance to this sloka, they beautifully bring out all these bhavanas. So this is the imagery of the creator, Vishnu, we present for beginners. And not only that, but we also explain how he creates the world. We say out of Vishnu's navel comes Brahmaji. Vishnu does not directly create the world. He creates Brahmaji. Thereafter hands over the creation job to Chaturmukha Brahmaji. So this is the idea of God as a creator for a beginner, wherein God is a person. And this will certainly help a beginner to relate to that God. It is a wonderful concept, very useful for meditation also. In fact, all these descriptions in Vishnu Sahasranama, the Dhyana Slokas, if you actually dwell upon the Dhyana Sloka, beautiful meditation. If you go into the Dhyanam, then whole Vishnu Sahasranama you can recall in your mind as the various Rupa, the forms of God. And once a person has remained in this state for some time, when the mind becomes mature, when the intellect becomes more mature, when the mind begins to ask further questions, say how you say that God is infinite. How can an infinite God have a finite location? Beautiful question. This will not occur to a beginner, but a more advanced student. He will also ask a question, where did God find the materials for creating the world? So when the student asks such question, we must understand that this student has now graduated to the next level. And we have got the next stage of teaching also. What do we say? We say God creates the universe means God himself manifests as the universe. Because for God to create, there is no outside material. At least a carpenter has got a piece of wood outside him. Goldsmith has got a piece of gold outside. But when God has to create, where will he find the raw material? Because all materials are also part of creation. So when creation itself has not taken place, how can the materials be there? In fact, even Akasha itself is not there before creation. Panchabhutani are not there. So where will the Lord find the material? Logical answer. Scriptures point out that the Lord finds the material also in himself. And the Upanishads, they give a beautiful example. Mundakopanishad students will recall. Yata urnabhihi srijate grinnate cha. Just as a spider finds the material in itself for creating the web, the Lord finds the material in his own body. Because the Lord consists of not only consciousness principle, he consists of matter principle also. And therefore, the Lord does not create the world. Lord himself manifests as the world. And at this stage, in Sanskrit, we use the word Ishwaraha. Jagat Parinami Upadhana Karanam. This is a technical word, Upadhana Karanam. So what is Para Prakriti called? Nimitta Karan. And therefore, God becomes, and the Maya principle, the material principle is called Upadana Karana. So God becomes Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. And therefore, the entire universe is seen as the manifestation of God. In that manner, we say God is Jagat Karanam. And the second stage is a very important stage because once I know God himself manifests as the universe, I will never ask the question, where is God? The question relating to location of God becomes irrelevant because God himself or herself is available in the form of creation. Therefore, Akasha is the manifestation of God. Vayu is the manifestation of God. We saw in the seventh chapter, Krishna himself saying, Rasohamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho pranavas sarva vedeshu shabdakhe paurusham rishu. Therefore, the sunlight is not created by God. Sunlight itself is the manifestation of God. And therefore, I worship the rising sun. And these ideas, we find it all across the scriptures. In fact, if you look at it, Rudram Namakam, Te chema Rudra Abito Decha Srita Sahasrasho Vai Shagum Heda Imahem Asavyo Vasatpati Nilagrivo Vilohitaha Utainangopa Adrishan Udahadya. Very beautifully described. Lord Shiva is daily rising in the form of the colorful sun, which is initially dark red, thereafter golden yellow, thereafter bright white during noon time. And the mantra says that this Lord Rudra Darshanam is available for all gopis, all the gopas, all shepherds also, without going to the temple, because they have no time. They have to take the cow for grazing early in the morning. And for ladies also, they have to carry water. Maybe those days, of course, the water resources were very few, either a pond or a well, somewhere. So they have to carry water. Udaharya hai. And we have seen such imagery in movies or in paintings. Women carrying 3 pots well balanced on their head. And they walk with swinging hands, with beautifully balanced, talking to other women, and sometimes quarreling also. And through all this, the pots will not fall. And even those women do not find time to go to a temple because they are busy tending their families. And Bhagavan wants to give darshanam to them. And what way they have darshanam? In the form of Surya. Because whenever you are outside house, you are directly in touch with Surya. You can see Surya morning till evening. You can see that Bhagavan. And not only that, even illiterate people, they can have Bhagavan's darshanam. Or even the most evolved Dvija, who performs Sandhya Vandanam every day, even they have the darshan of God through meditation on the sun. Sandhya Vandana Mantram. Dheyas Sada Savitru Mandala Madhyavartem Narayana Sarsijasana Sannivishtaha Keyuravan Magara Kundalavan Kriti Hari Hiranmaya Vapuho Dhritashanga Chakraha. All these are all, visualization of that Surya and meditating on that Surya. And therefore, once you come to the second level, when God has become the universe for me, God darshanam is always available. You will ask, what about if it's a cloudy sky? Doesn't matter. You can look at trees. That is also Bhagavan only. You need not even go outside your house. Look at the chair, table, everything. All upadana karanam only. All are Bhagavan only. Therefore, I need not necessarily go to a temple for God darshan. Of course, I can go there also because there also God is there. Everything that is there in the temple is also God. But God darshanam is available everywhere. And then I start understanding the body of the Lord as what? Bhupadav yasya nabhihi Vyadasura Nilaschand Suryaucha Netre. That's why, I thought that Vishnu Sahasranamam is a very beautiful, I should say, composition, prayer, which brings in all these concepts. Eka Rupa Ishvara, Aneka Rupa Ishvara. If you know the meaning of all the namas in the Vishnu Sahasranamam, and if you understand the dhyana slokas, then you have already reached the second stage. You will understand the whole cosmos is the avatar of the Lord, manifestation of the Lord. So I don't need to go to a place like Tirupati and all, stand in a long, big queue. Whether it is Dharma Darshanam or Special Darshanam, I don't have to wait in a queue. All I need to do is just open my eyes. And all that I see is only God everywhere. And this is called Vishwarupa Ishvara for more mature people. This is the second stage. And it is the second stage that is elaborated in chapter 7, 9, 10, and 11. In all these chapters for Madhyama Adhikaris, Lord has Vishwarupam. 8th chapter, as we saw, is an exception that talks about Krama Mukti. And if a person is able to dwell upon this, remain in this appreciation for sufficiently a long period of time, then we have the final stage. which of course initially cannot be easily accepted on the face of it. And what is that? God does not create the universe. God does not become the universe, because becoming means undergoing change. Then what is God? God apparently appears as the universe. Therefore, the universe is a false manifestation of the God. And in which stage alone we say the universe is unreal, mithya, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. But to appreciate the universe as unreal, it requires tremendous intellectual and emotional maturity. And therefore, that is kept as the final stage, which we will see from the 13th chapter onwards in the last Shatkam. But in these chapters, in Madhyama Shatkam, what is the topic? God manifests as the universe. Therefore, the whole universe is nothing but the Lord Himself. Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat. That is the message. And once I am able to appreciate this is divinization of this entire world. So in the first stage, God is some exotic place, sitting there. World is separate from God. God is somewhere, world is somewhere else. Both are in different places. God is sacred, the world is secular, or still worse. So we have a sacred secular dichotomy in the beginning stage. Once I come to the second stage, I do not separate God and the world, because God alone is in the form of the world. Just as gold alone is in the form of ornaments, wood alone is in the form of furniture. So I cannot say God and world, because to use the conjunction and, two things should be separate. So I cannot say God and world, because world is not separate from God. Wherever you see is nothing but Ishvara hai. And that's why Puja Swamiji used to say often, there is only Ishvara. Everywhere you see, there is only Ishvara. And once you have got this vision, whatever glory is there in the creation, the glory of the bright sun, Surya Bhagawad, who has been serving as the UPS of the entire cosmos, uninterrupted power supply to the whole universe. How many billions of years we do not know. One battery you put in a clock, in 2 months the battery runs out. But this sun battery is going on and on and on. You can, and so far as glory is concerned, you open your eyes and see around, glory everywhere. Glory of the earth itself. Such a beautiful, flora and fauna. Glory of water. The most ingenious chemical ever made is water. In fact, any other chemical you use, and if your hands are soiled, only water can clean that. So like that, you can go on and on and on appreciating all the glories of this God in the form of the glories of the universe. And therefore, Krishna wants to say that since God is everything, any glory found anywhere in the creation, that belongs to God alone. What about my glory? Somebody may say, because I am an accomplished dancer, I am an accomplished scientist, I am an accomplished sculptor who has won many, many awards. What about my glory? Krishna wants to say, those glories also, they belong to God alone, because you are also a mixture of apara prakriti and para prakriti. Therefore, give all the giver of all glories to the Lord. And this seeing of all the vibhutis, all the glories as God's vibhuti, And this chapter, the 10th chapter, is called Vibhuti Darshanam. And the biggest advantage when we come to this stage is that we will become humble. We will never claim any credit for any of our achievements. Because material success, or for that matter, any success, can make a person vain and arrogant. In fact, in Kenopanishad, there is a story. Once there was a big war between, as usual, all Puranas talk about fight between Devas and Asuras, symbolic fight between good and evil. And Devas will win or eventually. So here also Devas win and they become proud of their capacity. They feel, oh, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Konosti Sadrisham Maya, who is there equivalent to me? I am the greatest. So all the devatas, they all become very proud, arrogant. And Bhagavan wants to teach a lesson to them. There is a story. In fact, let me just recollect the story. If I remember, I will tell you. So similarly, here also off and down, pride can rise its hood. But if you remember Vibhuti Yoga, you will be humble. And not only that, when I see any glory in any other person, I will see that that glory also is the glory of Lord. And therefore, there is no comparison of two people. There is no jealousy. Because all glories belong to the Lord. And we cannot be jealous of God's glories. When there is only one source of all glories, where is the question of jealousy? So, for a real bhakta, a Vishwarupa bhakta, arrogance will never come, jealousy will never come. Because he sees Ishvara Vibhuti everywhere. And it is this transformation that Lord Krishna wants to bring in our minds. The transformation of seeing the glory of Lord everywhere. And therefore, this chapter, the topic of this chapter, since it is Sarvatra Ishvara Vibhuti Darshanam, this chapter is also called Vibhuti Yoga. So much of background I have given you, prepared you for entering into this chapter. So let us enter the chapter now. And we will chant the first shloka. Okay. All ready? You
Yes.
can mute yourself. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Bhuya eva mahabaho
Shrunu me paramam vachah.
Shૃణु मे paramam vachah
Yatteham priyamanaya.
Yatteham priyamanaya
Vakshyami hitakamyaya.
Vachyami hitakamyaya.
Good. So the Anvaya is Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. He Mahabaho. Bhuyah eva shrunu me paramam vachah. Yat aham hitakamyaya vakshyami te priyamanaya. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Lord said, He Mahabaho, O Arjuna, Bhuyah eva, once again, Shrunu, may you listen to, me paramam vachah, my supreme words, Yat aham, which I, hitakamyaya, wishing your welfare, Vakshyami te, shall tell you, Priyamanaya, who are delighted. The Lord said, O Arjuna, once again may you listen to my supreme words, which I, wishing your welfare, shall tell you who are delighted. It's a delighted person. Because 9 chapters, Arjuna has very patiently gone through and is asking more and more questions. So obviously, Krishna now understands that Arjuna is a serious, committed student. He is qualified for the second stage of teaching. So in this chapter, we do not find any question from Arjuna in the beginning. And we find that Krishna himself volunteers to talk more about Ishvara Swarupa. And the reason, as I said, is because Krishna finds Arjuna to be a serious student, a dear student. And Krishna knows that it is very rare to get good students. In fact, every Acharya knows this. Initial stages, Acharya will try to force the students to attend the classes and all. But Acharya knows that only those serious students will continue to stick on. Others will automatically fall off. That's why if you have noticed initially, last year and all, I used to say, you must all attend classes and things like that. You no longer see me saying all those things, isn't it? Because now our class also, a filtration process has taken place. And the students who are now attending, of course, there may be occasions where they, for some personal reason, they may not be attending 1 or 2 classes. That is okay. But those who are regularly attending, they are serious, committed students. If you have been with the teaching for the last 4 years, 4+ years, I should say, that means you are a serious student. All others have left, they have got down in intermediary stations. And Krishna knows all these things. So therefore, he makes use of the opportunity of Arjuna being in front of him. And just as Sishyas are interested in good gurus, in the same way, gurus are also interested in good Sishyas. Because a good Sishya will inspire the guru. Guru's creativity is activated when there is a bright, inquisitive, responding face. In fact, in the internet, of course, we will not be able to see the Sishya's face. But if it's a class which is going on in a lecture hall or somewhere where the guru is sitting on a pedestal, Sishyas are all sitting either on chairs or on the floor. When the guru can see the Sishyas, and if the Sishya's face is dull and sleepy, off and on looking at the watch, what will happen? Guru will forget whatever little he knows. He will feel, oh, these people, they want to go somewhere, it seems, very in a great hurry. Let me finish whatever it is and let them go. And in fact, in Kathopanishad, Yamadharma Raja himself congratulates Nachiketas. And he offers prayers to the Lord. Oh Lord, may I get more disciples like Nachiketas. This is a prayer he offers, Yamadharma Raja, because Nachiketas turns out to be a really, really very good Sishya. Like that, Krishna has also got wonderful Sishya in Arjuna. And also, I should say, all of us. And therefore, Krishna says, Arjuna, I am inspired, and therefore I am going to continue. So he says, He Mahabaho, He Arjuna, Bhuyah eva me paramam vachah srunu. May you once again listen to my supreme words. What do you mean by supreme words? Because words are words, always the same. How can Krishna say that his words are supreme? So here, the word supreme means words which are dealing with the supreme subject matter. And therefore, the words are called supreme words. So he says, I want to tell you more about the nature of God. And why? What is the reason? Priyamanayate, to you who are very, very dear disciple of mine. You are Priyamanaya, you are a delighted disciple of mine, my favorite disciple. Of course, really speaking, a guru should not have favorite, unfavorite, etc. No, non-favorite. But here the idea is conveying is that Arjuna is a committed, serious disciple who is positively responding to the teaching and therefore Priyamanaya. And not only that, I see you as a dear disciple with Shraddha. And I am teaching you because this teaching is beneficial to you. Hitakamyaya vakshyami. This topic is useful to you. This knowledge will help you in getting liberation, moksha. And therefore, hitakamyaya means for your own benefit. The idea is Krishna is not going to get any benefit out of it. Because Krishna does not require any benefit. In fact, if you remember in the third chapter, he said rather, Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptamavaptavyam vartayeva cha karmani. He has said there, I have nothing to accomplish in this universe. But still, out of compassion for you, hey Arjuna, I am going to teach you more. So next sloka. Name viduhu suragana hai.
नमे विदुः सुरगणाः
Name viduhu suragana hai.
नमे विदुः सुरगणाः
Prabhavam namaharshayah.
प्रभवं नमहर्षयः
Ahamadirhi devanam.
अहमादिर्देहानां
Maharshinam cha sarvashah.
महर्षीणां च सर्वशः.
The Anvaya is na suraganaha, na maharshayah, viduhu me prabhavam. Hi aham adihi devanam cha maharshinam sarvashah. Na suraganaha, neither the gods. Na maharshayah, nor the great sages. Viduhu, no. Me prabhavam, my origin. He aham adihi, because I am the origin, Devanam of the gods, Cha Maharshinam and the great sages, Sarvashaha in all respects. So Krishna starts unraveling the message, the teaching. So he says, neither the gods nor the sages know my origin, because I am the very origin of all the gods and the great sages in all respects. So these are all introductory verses, wherein the subject matter is introduced from verse number 1 to 3. Ishvara Swarupa Jnanam, Ishvara Vibhuti Jnanam is the subject matter which is being introduced. And in this verse, Krishna points out that Arjuna, do not think that you will learn the same topic from other gurus, because nobody else knows my glory in its entirety. I alone can know my glory in its full measure. And why nobody else can know? Firstly, because all others were born later. Secondly, all others are finite in nature. And therefore, how can a finite mind ever know the glory of the infinite Lord? And therefore, Arjuna, you have to learn from only one source, and that is me. And therefore, pay attention. So he says, Suraganaha me prabhavam na viduhu. Even gods do not know my full glory. Now I recall the Keno Upanishad story. Okay. So the story goes that after a great victory over the demons, the gods, the devas, they celebrated taking all the credit for themselves. And in order to humble them, Brahman appeared as a mysterious yaksha. Now don't ask me how can Brahman is changeless, nirvikara, how can he appear and all. All story, Maya Sahitam Brahma appeared as yaksha, we can understand. And the devas could not understand that form of a yaksha. So they were all having big party, having all sorts of, buffet dinner and drinks and dinner and all. Yaksha appears there. And the Yaksha says, oh, you are all celebrating, great people. But I want to test you. And therefore, the Lord challenged them one by one. He puts a twig on the ground and asks Agni to burn it. Agni says, I have burned so many things. What is this small twig? So Agni tries his level best, Agni Devata, but the twig is not burned. So Agni gets humiliated. Next comes Vayu Devata, who says, okay, this small twig, you blow it. He says, what are you joking? I create tsunamis. I create all these cyclones and all. Do you think that this small twig, in fact, even elephants and all, I can lift, I can blow them away. What is this small twig? So the Vayu Devata blows full power. The twig is there, it is not even shaken. So Vayu Devata also gets humiliated. Then comes Indra Devata. Indra Devata is known for his power, physical prowess. So the Yaksha says, can you lift this twig? Indra says, what is this? He says, you want to challenge my power? He tries to lift the twig. He is not able to lift the twig. Then Indra Devata understands that this is not an ordinary Yaksha. So he prays to the Lord, Parvati Devi. And Uma Devi comes and tells Indra that all powers they possess, whether it is Indra or Vayu or Agni or Varuna, whatever it is, all powers they possess have come from Brahman alone. And they need not feel proud about their powers. Thus, through the Keno Upanishad story, it is pointed out that even Devatas cannot know the full nature of the God. Therefore, Suraganaha means Devaganaha, na viduhu. They do not know. Me prabhavam. Prabhavam means glory. Prabhavam means glory. I think I translated its origin. Prabhavam, both meanings we can take. They don't know my origin and therefore they do not know my full glory. So my power, my total power, they do not know. What about the rishis? Maharshaya api prabhavam na viduhu. Even great rishis do not know my glory. What's the reason? Krishna himself gives the reason, because aham adihi. I am their cause, I am their creator. They have come much later. And not only that, they have come later, but they also got a limited mind, a limited intellect, a limited instruments of knowledge. So here the word adihi, we can interpret it as karanam. I am the cause of all the devas, including Brahmaji. In the Puranas, if you read, Brahmaji appears from the navel of Vishnu and he sees darkness everywhere. Because he is the first one to appear, Then nothing else. He does not see anything, any second thing. He does not know anything, including his own nature. And it seems the Puranas say Brahmaji got frightened. Then he did tapas. And as a result of the tapas, he acquires knowledge given by Vishnu, the original creator. And this is very beautifully described in a Veda mantra. Yo brahmanam vidatati purvam, yo vai vedamsya prahinoti tasmai. So Vishnu creates Brahmadeva. Brahmaji is ignorant initially. Then Vishnu himself sends him all the knowledge. Yo vai vedamsya prahinoti tasmai. And therefore Krishna says, how can anybody talk about my glory? Because they themselves do not know. I am the Karanam of everyone, including Brahmaji. I am the Karanam behind all Rishis. Maharishis also. Sarvasha in all sense, in total sense. What does he mean by Sarvasha? Is I am not only Nimitta Karanam, but also Upadana Karanam. It is not that I create them. In fact, I myself manifest as those people. So Sarvashaha. Then Krishna continues. Already?
Yes.
Yo mama jamanadim cha
Yo mamajamanadim cha
veti loka maheshwaram
Veti lokamaheshwaram
asammuda samartyeshu
asammudasamadhyeshu
sarva papai pramuchyate.
sarvapapai pramuchyate.
Good. So the Anvaya is Martyeshu Saha Asammudaha Yaha Vetti Mam Ajam Anadim Lokamaheshwaram Cha Pramuchyate Sarva Papaihi. Martyeshu, among the mortals. Saha Asammudaha, he is a discriminative one. Yaha Vetti Mam, who knows me. Ajam, to be birthless. Anadim, to be beginningless. Lokamaheshwaram cha, and the great Lord of the universe. Pramuchyate, becomes free. Sarva papaihi, from all sins. So Krishna says, among mortals, that discriminative ones, who know me to be birthless, costless, and the great Lord of the universe, that person becomes free from all sins. And therefore, if a person is an intelligent one, he will certainly apply his mind to know the Jagat Karana Ishvara. It is only the inferior, ordinary type of mind which will be satisfied with knowing a few things here and there. Sufficient learning for earning food. Sufficient learning, even Shastra learning, sufficient for offering prayers. For what? Artha Kama only. And that's why, in modern day, education is based on what? It is to give us a livelihood, to enable us to earn our bread, live comfortably, and one fine day, take off, and then come back again. You may be a CA, an engineer, doctor, even a PhD. There is only one goal. Earn more and more. Of course, exceptions are there. who, especially amongst doctors, who will do, free consultation, etc. But in general, if you see the trend today in all these multi-speciality hospitals like Apollo and Fortis and whatnot, only aim, earn more and more and more. And even when a student passes out of school, the big question, both in the student's mind and the parent's mind, is which degree will fetch a job in which I can work least and get paid the most. And there is a season. Once upon a time, it was doctor profession, degree. Then engineers came. Then IT industry grew. Then software came. So it keeps on changing, but the underlying goal doesn't change. So most people, they are satisfied with that knowledge because their intellect is not mature, sufficiently developed. Any developed intellect will always have many questions. Kastvam koham kuta ayata hai, kame janani ko me tata hai. So a developed intellect will certainly ask such questions. Is there a cause for all that is happening? In fact, we read daily in the newspapers and in the media, all the scientists, they are all struggling to arrive at one cause of the universe. They want to reduce everything to a theory which can be verified by the five senses. As Swami Paramatmananda ji says, cause hunting is the job of a thinking intellect. Newton did the same thing. Einstein did the same thing. Hunt for the cause. Now the quantum physics are doing the same thing. But a mediocre mind, what it will think? What am I going to do by knowing all these things? Why should I bother about these things? I've got a family to look after, so many things to do. Earn money. So let me focus only on that. Why should I attend all these Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita classes and all? Some little bit temple and all, I will visit and pray to God. That is enough. But a thinking intellect will not be satisfied with that. A thinking intellect will like to arrive at Asmin Vijnate Sarvam Idam Vijnatam Bhavati. So such a mature intellect is called here Asammudaha. A mature intellect, a discriminative intellect, is the one Yahaveti, who knows what Mam, me, the Jagat Karanam, the cause of everything in this universe. And therefore, Yahamam Veti, that intelligent person knows me as God, who is Jagat Karanam. And what type of God am I? Krishna uses three adjectives to describe the nature of God. Ajam, Anadim, Lokamaheshwaram cha. Ajam, I am the God who is birthless cause of the universe. Because if God also has a birth, then God will not become the ultimate cause of the universe, because God will have his cause. Then the next question will come, who is God's creator? And you will say, super God. Who is super God's creator? Then you will say super God. So that like that the questions will go into infinite regression. And therefore the ultimate cause should be a causeless cause. So Ajaha. Anadim. Anadim means beginningless. No one can trace my origin. I am causeless because birthless. And therefore causeless. Because causeless, therefore birthless. Both are interconnected, in fact. And if you read the Puranas, they will put it in a normal form that the God is the father and mother. They'll be sitting in Kailasa or Vaikunta, and somebody will ask, who are your parents? And they will say that we do not have parents. That is the same idea. It is dramatized in the Puranas. Here we say causeless cause. And that's why, some pravachanakaras, they say Parvati is the luckiest daughter-in-law because she does not have a mother-in-law and father-in-law. So, in the Puranas, gods are depicted as a family so that, ordinary people can relate to those concepts. And if you scientifically analyze, God is causeless and therefore only the Loka Maheshwaram, greatest God, who is the creator, who is the controller of the whole universe. More we will see in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Guruji.
Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
Namaskaram,
Thank
Guruji.
you,
Thank you
Guruji.
very much.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaste, Pradam. Thank you very much.
Namaskaram. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Namaskaram. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Girish ji.
Namaste, Hari Om Guruji. And I just wanted to know the example of Adi Devikam. Adhyatmikam, Adi Bautikam, I know, I mean, to a certain extent. Adi Devikam, I have some confusion, so I thought, okay, I will ask you.
These are called Tapatraya.
Okay.
Adi Devikam means the obstacles can be caused in our progress in spirituality by the Devas also.
Okay.
These occur in the context of obstacles in the spiritual progress.
Okay.
So just now I told the story of the Devas, right? Agni, Vayu and all.
Okay.
So it says that a person who is pursuing Brahma Vidya or Atma Vidya, as we call it,
Okay.
and he is on the path to moksha, the Devas are jealous of that person. Because Devas themselves are all what? They are only exalted jivas. They have not got mokshas. If they got moksha, they wouldn't be existing as Devas, isn't it?
Okay. Okay.
So there, Devas exist as Devas because they are exalted jivas. And they have got more powers, right, than an ordinary jiva. So they use their power to put all sorts of obstacles in the jiva's life. And that is Adi Daivikam. So Adhyatmam, one type of obstacle which we create for ourselves. Adi Bhautikam, obstacles with the world around us creates for us in our spiritual progress. And Adi Daivikam is the obstacles that Bhagawad, the Devas, not Bhagavan, the Devas create because of jealousy. They don't want the Jiva to overtake them. Because if the Jiva gets, moksha, then the Jiva would have overtaken them, because they have not got moksha. It is just like, Trump criticizing, putting obstacles because he's not got the Nobel Prize. Now, next you will see that Netherlands and all, they will have some tariff and all being put on them because they didn't give Nobel Prize to Trump. So, in the context of obstacles, this Adi Daivikam is there. There is another way we can understand this. That is in terms of the grace that we have to invoke. Whenever we want to progress in life, in whatever field, including spirituality, we have to first invoke our own self-grace. We have to bless ourselves. We have to think positive, be self-confident, have that, can-do attitude. That is Adi Adhyatmika.
Okay.
Adhyatmika grace. Then Adi Bhautika grace, we cannot progress in our life without the cooperation, without the support, without the help from our entire society, of the environment, everything.
Correct.
So you have to invoke the grace of all those environment, people and all for you to progress.
Okay.
Then Adi Devikam, obviously, we have to invoke the grace of all devatas, Agni Devata. When I am conducting the class, there should not be a sudden short circuit in my place, which will, give obstacle.
Is it natural catastrophes?
All natural causes, whether it is
Okay.
Agni, Vayu, and all. They're all, see, the entire cosmic powers are depicted as devatas in our Shastra.
Okay.
So whatever power you take, there should not be a sudden earthquake, the whole ceiling is falling. And I am teaching Bhagavad Gita, that should not happen. It should not only happen for me, should not happen for any student, also for anybody. So like that, you can interpret these three
Okay.
from a point of view of invoking the grace also for progress in life.
Okay.
So this broadly, that is, I think, sufficient explanation
Yes.
for that. Okay.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Yes, Ramuji.
Just in the Girish's point, that Adi Devikam, just I wanted to mention something. In the Harinama Kirtanam, it is mentioned that Devas themselves pray to be born in the Manushya Loka and Bhuloka. Manushyarai Prakna, something is there. Then
Yes,
says,
yes.
then only that. And therefore only the another example I can quote is the Indra sending the bar dancers, Menaka and all to.
Yeah.
That is the example I can give.
Prevent. Yeah. That these
So-
are exactly a good example.
Yeah.
Where the Devas, they prevent
Hmm.
any spiritual progress because Shiva was doing tapas.
Okay.
So in order to prevent that, he sent this to Menaka and
Yeah.
Vishnu was sent and all.
Okay. And that bar dancers are controlling India now.
Well,
Okay, very good. So that is what it is, yeah. Any other question? So can we close the session? Continue next week. Okay.
Hari Om, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you, Guruji.
Acharya, Guruji, thank you very much.